So let's say you're in the market for an electronic drum set and you've narrowed it down between the Roland TD11k and the TD4kp. Which one is the better one for you in your particular situation? That's coming up. What's up guys, Justin Greenwald here, welcome to 65 Drums. This is the place to keep on top of all things E-drum related, so consider subscribing if you haven't yet. If you're wondering why I'm doing a versus video on the TD4 and the TD11, it's because I've actually been asked this in the comments section. You can get both of those drum sets for 700 bucks right now. If you go to Guitar Center and you see a used TD11k, they're going for 700 bucks. If you go buy a brand new TD4kp, they're 700 bucks. So let's get into the pros and cons of both of these drum sets, starting with the TD4kp. The biggest thing this drum set has going for it is its extreme, ultimate portability. Believe it or not, there are people out there that really need a portable drum set. They've got to have it. I've talked to guys where they literally have to play a drum set, fold it up, and put it in a closet after they're done, that sort of thing. And so this is an incredible drum set for that purpose. You can fold it down to practically nothing. It's about 27 pounds, and they even sell an external backpack thing for like 100 bucks. That's way too expensive. Either buy it used or just go buy something else. Throw it in the front seat of your car and take it wherever you need to go. So it's incredibly portable. In fact, the kick pad is built into the frame itself, which I think is really clever. Some of the things that this drum set has going against it is the fact that it doesn't have any rims on the toms and the snare. Really bare bones here. This is a big deal for me guys because I hit the rim shot a lot and there's literally no rim on this drum set. It's not because the drum module isn't capable of this feature. It's just the fact that the pads were literally designed with no rim sensors. What Roland wants you to do is upgrade the snare right away and buy a PDX8 pad. So that's the mesh snare pad that's on the TD11. It's a limitation they put there on purpose. It's not an oversight. Roland's doing this to try to get more money from you. The other thing going against this drum set is the drum module, when you compare it to the TD11 at least. It's just last gen, the sounds aren't quite as good as the TD11. Again, that's up for debate. It went out of circulation. Roland resurrected it just for this drum set. They literally stopped making this drum module for a while. I'm not saying it's a terrible drum module, but it's not as good as the TD11. So let's move on to the pros and cons of the Roland TD11k. The first thing you notice when you sit down and play this drum set is that it's a bigger, more heavy-duty drum set than the TD4kp. Obviously, because they're designed completely different from each other. The TD11k is actually 20 pounds heavier at 47 pounds versus 27 pounds. The TD11 has rim zones on all the toms and the snare. In fact, the snare drum is a mesh snare drum, 8 inches across. It's got a stupid inner plastic ring that I just do not like at all. But thank goodness it's something other than rubber. And finally, one of my favorite things about this drum set is the kick drum pad. Unfortunately, it does have a tendency to skid around. Kick drum pads for a lot of these lower end electronic drum sets just do that. I mean, it's just a fact of life when you buy a cheaper electronic drum set. But the material that the kick drum pad is made of just feels solid. It's this cloth rubber mixture that's kind of hard to describe. It's got some give when you hit it with your kick drum pedal. It's just a solid feeling kick drum pad. I like it a lot better than the equivalent pad made by Yamaha for the DTX500 series. That's basically just a giant rubber hockey puck. So that's one of the big differences between both of these drum sets. The fact that it has the rim zones, that it has the better drum module, that it has the better kick drum pad, and it's just a hefty, bigger drum set overall. And I believe some of the pads are actually bigger as well. But no drum set is perfect. Let's talk about the cons of the Roland TD11k. The first thing is that it's just expensive. I feel like Roland overpriced this drum set. It should be $800. That's where it really should be. So to buy it for the $700 price point, you'll have to buy it used, which is fine. Roland drum sets really do hold up even when you buy a used version. I just wish Roland had priced the TD11k a little bit lower on that price scale. And as far as sounds go, even though they're better than the ones on the TD4, they're still not as good as I would like them to be. Honestly, this is the bare bones drum module I would buy. If I had a really low budget, the TD11 would be as cheap as I would go. And the sounds, there's still a little bit to be desired when you're playing these drum sounds, especially with the snare sounds and some of the cymbal sounds. And obviously, since it's bigger and heavier than the TD4, that means it's less portable, so just keep that in the back of your mind. The last con against the Roland TD11k is the fact that it's at the end of its life cycle. I don't know when it's going to be discontinued, but it will be eventually. If you really think about it, they discontinued the Roland TD15, and then they came out with the TD25. The TD30 is going away, and now the TD50 is here. The only two drum sets that they can upgrade now are the TD1 and the TD11. So that means the TD11, the new version of the TD11 is gonna come out eventually. We just don't know when. So just keep that in the back of your mind. You might buy this drum set and then it gets replaced with a new version a year from now. And that's just a guess. I don't have any insight or knowledge on this, but it just makes sense to me. It's the next drum set up to be upgraded. So in summary, the TD4 is just a way more portable drum set, great for those types of situations where you don't have much space in your apartment or you need to transport it in your car constantly. The TD11 is just a better, well-rounded drum set. You'll have to buy it used if you only have $700, but again, I believe it's the better all-around drum set. If you do not want to buy a used electronic drum set, and you have about $800, the best drum set for about that price is the Yamaha DTX522k. Very powerful drum set. The cymbals are all 3-zone. It's got that Yamaha DTX silicone snare. The kick drum pad isn't as good as the Roland TD11k, and you can argue back and forth on whether or not the sounds of the 522k are better than the TD11k. But if you want to buy something brand new and you only have $800, then the DTX522k is the better deal. Hope you found this video useful and interesting. I'm coming out with brand new videos every single week, so subscribe to keep on top of those brand new uploads. See you guys in a few days.